Let's bring in Florida Congressman and Chairman of the House Foreign Relations Committee, Brian Mast. Brian, you're as fluent in foreign relations as anyone in the House. Your thoughts about reading between the lines now, because you don't know a lot of facts about what happened over the course of 3 hours.
Yeah, I think the president is clear-eyed, number one. I think his posture showed that he was clear-eyed about what Vladimir Putin was saying, where Vladimir Putin was wrong. His back is against the wall. There's double NATO land borders along Russia because of Vladimir Putin. As you mentioned in the previous segment, everybody's meeting their commitments or upping their commitments. Russian economy is not growing by 20%. They're in massive inflation is what's going on there, in fact. And you look at the list of things that are happening here, the biggest national security threat to any Russian male is forced conscription and then a deployment to go to the invasion of Ukraine. And these things are being realized across the board. And President Trump, I think, is just crystal clear that Putin's back is against the wall. And I think he demonstrated that clearness with his very first action before saying a word, with the fact that he flew B-2 bombers over his head.
Why was that important?
I think that was not an accident, obviously. For him to fly a B-2 bomber over Vladimir Putin's head, it was a signal to him that when President Trump says, hey, there could be very serious consequences, he's saying that these serious consequences can be very far-reaching. Maybe it's fires that we sell to European countries or other NATO countries that can reach Moscow or St. Petersburg, or oil refineries or other things, or maybe it's other weapon systems that we make sure get into the hands of the Ukrainians. I think that's what I read between the lines of that number one action of them stepping on stage and having that bomber go overhead.
So, Chairman, in the first time President Trump was president, there was some friction with NATO. We know that. We saw it. There was some mocking among European leaders and the president. We witnessed it. We remember the open mic moment as they all talked about the president when he was in the other room, when he was in London, and Boris Johnson was the prime minister. But now you have a very united Europe. You have a very united NATO, and they seem to have respect for the president. So that's another goal of Russia's that has not worked. You have not divided the West from Europe.
No, I think it's entirely true. And Vladimir Putin is operating in a hallucination if he's reading anything other than that. And again, President Trump is clear-eyed on what the actual facts are. And if you go back to what you brought up about history and that divide between the United States of America and NATO in the 45 administration, President Trump was hammering Europe saying, hey, why are we a part of this 32-country, this NATO 32-country organization, and Canada and others? Why are we a part of this if you're getting all of your oil and gas from Russia? If you have the Turk Stream pipeline and the Nord Stream pipeline and all these pipelines that you're getting things from Russia, why are we a part of giving our time and our troops and our treasure, and you're not meeting these commitments? Why would we do that? And he was clear-eyed at that time.
Yep, the most overrated leader of the last generation, Angela Merkel, thought that would be a great idea. Thanks so much, Chairman Mast. I appreciate it.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.